The name badge waiting for me at registration read, Alex Chen family guest. Not Alex Chen founder and CEO. Not Alex Chen tech entrepreneur. Just family guest, like I was someone's plus one who'd wandered in off the street. My brother Tyler's badge, by contrast, read, Tyler Chen Senior VP, Chen Manufacturing. Looks like they got yours right, I said, clipping mine to my suit jacket. Tyler grinned, adjusting his designer tie. Well, I actually work for the family business. You know, real work. I was 29 years old. 3 years ago, I'd founded DataFlow Systems, an AI-powered supply chain optimization platform. We'd started with 2 employees in my apartment. Now we had 340 employees across 4 countries, annual revenue of $89 million, and we just closed our Series C funding at a $1.2 billion valuation. Last month, I'd been photographed for a major business magazine cover story on young tech founders reshaping industry. The issue would hit newsstands tomorrow. My family knew none of this. They knew I did something with computers and worked from home in what they called my pajamas. They were comfortable clothes, not pajamas. They knew I didn't work for the family manufacturing business, which in their eyes meant I didn't have a real job. Come on, Tyler said, steering me toward the ballroom. Dad's table is up front. They've got us in the back with the extended family and friends. Of course they do, I murmured. Tonight was the Regional Business Excellence Awards. My father, David Chen, was receiving the Lifetime Achievement Award for building Chen Manufacturing from a small machine shop into a $50 million a year operation. It was impressive. He'd worked hard for 40 years. I was proud of him. I'd flown in from San Francisco for this, rearranging a board meeting and 3 investor calls. But as we entered the ballroom, I saw the seating chart and felt the familiar sting of dismissal. Table 1. My father, my mother, Tyler and his wife, the mayor, the Chamber of Commerce president, and several local business leaders. Table 8. Me, Aunt Linda, Uncle Bob, some cousins I barely knew, and what appeared to be my father's golf buddies. You okay back here? Tyler asked, though he was already moving toward the front. I'm fine. Good. Dad's speech is going to be amazing. He's been working on it for weeks. Really talking about legacy, family business, passing the torch to the next generation. He clapped my shoulder. You know, to me, since I'm actually in the business. I watched him walk away, his senior VP title gleaming on his badge. Tyler was good at his job. He managed operations well, had improved efficiency by 12%, and handled the workforce competently. But he'd been handed the position because he was the boss's son. He'd never had to pitch investors, never had to make payroll when accounts were empty, never had to build something from nothing. At table 8, I introduced myself to the golf buddies and distant cousins. They were polite but uninterested. One asked what I did for work. I run a tech company, I said. Oh, one of those startup things? Uncle Bob said. My neighbor's kid does that. Still lives with his parents at 35. He laughed. No offense, but when are you going to get a real job? I have a real job. Sure. But I mean like Tyler. Stable income, benefits, career advancement. This tech bubble thing won't last forever. I smiled tightly and excused myself to the bar. The bartender made me a whiskey neat and I stood at the edge of the ballroom watching the crowd mingle. Business leaders in expensive suits, congratulating each other, discussing deals and partnerships. My father held court at table 1, beaming, Tyler at his right hand like a crown prince. My phone buzzed. A text from my PR manager. Magazine hits digital at midnight. Print distribution starts 6 a.m. tomorrow. You ready for this? I glanced at the time. It was 7:47 p.m. The awards ceremony started at 8 o'clock. Ready as I'll ever be, I replied. You've earned this, Alex. Time to let the world see what you've built. Another text came through, this time from my chief operating officer. Jensen just confirmed. We're signing the $200 million partnership with Walmart next week. This is going to change everything. I stared at the message. Walmart, one of the largest retailers in the world, had chosen DataFlow to overhaul their entire supply chain management system. It was the deal we'd been negotiating for 8 months. It would triple our revenue overnight. At table 1, my father was laughing at something the mayor said. Tyler was showing someone photos on his phone, probably of his new boat, a gift from Dad for exceeding quarterly targets. Ladies and gentlemen, a voice announced over the sound system. Please take your seats. The ceremony is about to begin. I returned to table 8, settling between Aunt Linda and a golf buddy whose name I'd already forgotten. So Alex, Aunt Linda said, your father tells me you're still single? You know, at your age Tyler was already engaged. I've been busy with work, I said. Oh, that computer thing. Well, hopefully you'll find time for a personal life soon. A real career might help with that. Gives you stability, you know. The lights dimmed before I could respond. Build up, 600 to 800 words. The awards ceremony moved through its categories with practiced efficiency. Community Service Award. Innovation in Manufacturing. Emerging Business Leader. Tyler was nominated for that one but didn't win, and I watched my father's jaw tighten with disappointment. Finally, the MC stepped to the microphone for the evening's main event. Our final award tonight is our highest honor, the Lifetime Achievement Award. This recognizes not just business success, but sustained excellence, community impact, and the creation of lasting legacy. Applause rippled through the ballroom. This year's recipient built a company from the ground up, employing hundreds of local workers and putting our region on the map for precision manufacturing. Please welcome our Lifetime Achievement Award winner, David Chen. The room erupted. I stood with everyone else, clapping as my father made his way to the stage. He looked genuinely moved, his eyes glistening under the stage lights. Thank you, he said, voice thick with emotion. This award means everything to me. When I started Chen Manufacturing 40 years ago, I had nothing but a dream and a willingness to work harder than anyone else. He talked about the early days, the struggles, the victories. It was a good speech. Honest and heartfelt. But the greatest achievement of my life isn't this company, Dad continued. It's knowing that it will continue after I'm gone. That I'm passing this legacy to my son Tyler, who has proven himself worthy of leading Chen Manufacturing into the future. The spotlight swung to Tyler at table 1. He stood, waving, accepting applause like he'd won the award himself. Tyler represents everything this company stands for, Dad said. Hard work, dedication, commitment to excellence. He's my legacy. At table 8, Uncle Bob leaned over. Must be hard, Alex, watching your brother get all that attention. But hey, not everyone can work for the family business, right? I said nothing. The next generation of business leaders is in good hands, Dad concluded. Thank you all for this honor. More standing ovation. Tyler embraced Dad on stage for photos. The perfect father-son success story. As they returned to table 1, I checked my phone. 11:43 p.m. 17 minutes until the magazine went live. The MC was wrapping up. That concludes our awards ceremony. Please enjoy dessert and coffee. And don't forget to pick up your gift bags on the way out, including this month's business magazines. I looked toward the exit. Sure enough, staff were setting up tables with gift bags. I could see magazine covers peeking out of them. My stomach knotted. During dessert, Tyler appeared at table 8, basking in reflected glory. Great speech, right? Dad really nailed it. Did you hear what he said about legacy? I heard. He's grooming me for CEO, Tyler said, not bothering to lower his voice. Probably within the next 5 years. Pretty exciting. Congratulations, I said. Yeah, it's awesome. Hey, no hard feelings, right? I know you chose a different path with your computer stuff. Not everyone's cut out for real business leadership. Aunt Linda patted my hand sympathetically. Tyler's always been the ambitious one. But there's nothing wrong with pursuing hobbies, Alex. It's not a hobby, I started, but Tyler was already walking away, accepting congratulations from other tables. My phone buzzed. 11:58 p.m. Another text from my PR manager. 2 minutes. The website goes live at midnight. Magazine distribution trucks are rolling out now. I excused myself and stepped into the hallway, pulling up the magazine's website on my phone. The current issue was still displayed. I refreshed. 11:59 p.m. Through the ballroom doors I could hear laughter and conversation. My father's voice telling a story. Tyler's laugh, loud and confident. 12 a.m. I refreshed. The new cover loaded. There I was, professional photo shoot, arms crossed, standing in front of DataFlow's office with the San Francisco skyline behind me. The headline in bold letters, 30 under 30, the young founders revolutionizing industry. And in smaller text, How Alex Chen built a billion-dollar company while everyone doubted. My photo was the cover. The main feature. I walked back into the ballroom just as people were starting to leave. The gift bag table was crowded now, guests collecting their magazines and swag. I watched the first person pull out the magazine. Then another. Someone pointed at the cover. Showed their companion. Both looked across the ballroom at me. Then another person. And another. Within 3 minutes, a dozen people were staring at magazines, then at me, then at the magazines again. Uncle Bob approached, magazine in hand, his face pale. Alex, is this you? Yes, I said simply. You're on the cover of this magazine. They're calling you. It says you're worth over $1 billion. The company is valued at $1.2 billion, yes. Your company? I founded it. I'm the CEO. The conversation in the ballroom was dying down as more people discovered the magazines. My father was still at table 1, accepting final congratulations, oblivious. Tyler saw it first. One of his friends showed him the magazine. I watched his expression cycle through confusion, disbelief, and then something darker. He walked straight to table 1 and put the magazine in front of my father. Revelation, 400 to 500 words. The ballroom had gone quiet enough that I could hear my father's voice from across the room. What is this? Alex, Tyler said, his voice strained. Our Alex. He's on the cover. My father picked up the magazine, holding it at arm's length like it might be a trick. My mother leaned in, her hand flying to her mouth. The mayor, still at their table, leaned over. David, is that your son? I had no idea you had another son in business. My father stammered. Tyler was reading from the article now, his voice carrying. Alex Chen, 29, founder and CEO of DataFlow Systems, has built one of the fastest-growing supply chain optimization platforms in the world. With 340 employees and annual revenue of $89 million, Chen's company recently secured $200 million in Series C funding, valuing the company at $1.2 billion. The room was utterly silent. This can't be right, my father said. Alex doesn't. He just works on computers at home. The Chamber of Commerce president pulled out her phone. David, I'm looking at their website right now. This is real. DataFlow Systems is a major player. I've heard of them. They're competing with companies like SAP and Oracle. But he never said. Mom's voice was barely a whisper. Tyler kept reading like he couldn't stop himself. Despite his success, Chen remains modest, rarely discussing his achievements publicly. I don't need external validation, Chen told our reporter. I know what I've built. When asked about his family's manufacturing business, Chen smiled. My father built something impressive. I have tremendous respect for that. I just chose to build something different. There's more, Tyler said, his voice hollow now. It says here that DataFlow just signed a partnership with Walmart worth $200 million. The deal was finalized this week. Someone started clapping. Then another person. Within seconds, the entire ballroom was applauding, all eyes on me. I stood there in my simple suit with my family guest badge, accepting what my father should have given me years ago: recognition. The mayor approached me first, hand extended. Mr. Chen, I apologize for not recognizing your achievements earlier. This is extraordinary. Would you consider speaking at our Economic Development Summit next month? I'll have my assistant check my schedule, I said. More people crowded around. Business leaders who'd ignored me all evening suddenly wanted to network. Someone asked about investment opportunities. Another wanted advice for their daughter's startup. Through the crowd, I could see my family at table 1. My father still holding the magazine. Tyler staring at his phone, probably confirming everything he'd just read. My mother crying. Not tears of pride, I realized. Tears of guilt. Resolution, 300 to 500 words. The crowd around me grew. Questions came rapid fire. How did you scale so quickly? What's your advice for young entrepreneurs? Is DataFlow hiring? Through it all, I kept my responses professional and brief. This wasn't my event. It was my father's night, and I had no desire to steal his moment, even though that's exactly what was happening. Finally, my father approached. The crowd parted for him. Alex, he said. We need to talk. Congratulations on your award, Dad. You've built something impressive. Why didn't you tell us? The question came out almost angry. All this time you let us think. Think what? I interrupted gently. That I was unsuccessful? That I was wasting my time? I tried to tell you, Dad. Multiple times. You never wanted to listen. You said you worked on computers. I do work on computers. I built an artificial intelligence platform that's reshaping how global supply chains operate. But every time I tried to explain it, you changed the subject or made jokes about my hobby. Tyler had joined us now, still clutching the magazine. You let me lecture you about real business leadership. You did that on your own, I said. I never asked for your advice. But you're a billionaire, Tyler said, and there was something broken in his voice. You're more successful than our entire family combined, and you just sat at table 8 with the golf buddies. Success isn't about where you sit, I said. It's about what you build. I learned that from Dad, actually. He started with nothing and built Chen Manufacturing. I just chose to build something different. My mother finally spoke. Alex, sweetheart, we're so sorry. We should have asked. We should have known. You should have cared, I corrected gently. Whether I was successful or not shouldn't have mattered. I'm your son. The MC's voice crackled over the sound system. Ladies and gentlemen, we've just learned that we have another notable founder in attendance tonight. Alex Chen, founder and CEO of DataFlow Systems, currently featured on this month's 30 Under 30 cover. More applause. Cameras turned toward me. No, I said into the nearest microphone someone had shoved in front of me. Tonight is about my father's lifetime achievement. That's what we're here to celebrate. I looked at Dad. You built something real and lasting. You employed hundreds of people. You should be proud. I am proud of you. Alex. I have an early flight back to San Francisco, I said. Board meeting tomorrow, then the Walmart partnership signing. My assistant will send you the details if you'd like to follow the news. I walked toward the exit, still wearing my family guest badge. Tyler called after me. Alex, wait. Can we at least have dinner? Talk about this. I paused at the door. I'm pretty busy, Tyler. You know, with my computer hobby. The gift bags were still lined up by the exit. I took one, pulling out the magazine with my face on the cover. Something to remember the evening, I said to no one in particular. Outside, my rideshare was waiting. As we pulled away from the convention center, my phone buzzed with messages. Dad, please call me. We need to talk. Tyler, I'm sorry. I was an idiot. Can we start over? Mom, we love you. We're so proud. Please forgive us. I stared at the messages for a long moment, then opened the magazine to the full article. There was a sidebar with a quote they'd pulled out and highlighted. The people who doubt you the most are often the ones closest to you. But their doubt doesn't define your worth. Your work does. I'd said that during the interview, thinking of my family. Now they'd finally heard it. Whether they understood it was another question entirely. I turned off my phone and watched the city lights blur past the window. Tomorrow I'd sign the biggest deal of my career. Next month we'd announce our expansion into Europe. Next year DataFlow would probably go public. And through it all I'd remain exactly who I'd always been. Someone who built things, not someone who sought approval for building them. The family guest badge was still clipped to my jacket. I took it off, studied it for a moment, then slipped it into my pocket. A reminder of the night my family finally saw me. Not because I'd changed, but because they'd finally bothered to look.